Hello. In this video, you will learn how to monitor your critical servers and services using CA NIMSOFT Monitor. CA NIMSOFT Monitor offers simple, powerful server-centric server monitoring software that helps IT gain a business service perspective from the multitude of server platforms they have deployed. It enables fast and easy issue identification, remediation, and alerting capabilities that help you react to potential issues before they affect service levels or end users. Before we go into the demo, let's take a quick look at the definition and history of server monitoring. Historically, server monitoring has used protocols like ICMP ping, SNMP to query servers, the reception of SNMP traps, and syslog monitoring. Today, we use the same protocols but have added the ability of WMI, SSH, Telnet, and APIs to log into the servers, run local system commands to access more detail in the information that we're monitoring. All this monitoring creates reactive and proactive events to measure the availability and performance of the servers. The next question to answer is what should be monitored? Server hardware failures, such as fans, power supplies, disk drives, the physical components of the server, and system performance like CPU, memory, disk space, processor queue length, paging, event logs, services and processes that are running on the servers. Note that virtual servers don't have the hardware monitoring requirements that physical servers require, and that there are different performance metrics to monitor in virtual environments. What's required in a monitoring system? The ability to discover, poll, listen, the creation of dashboards, reports for trending and analysis, event actions like email, text message, create service desk tickets, execution of scripts or commands for self-healing, and correlation, all incorporated into a web-based solution. So let's take a look at the NIMSOFT Monitor for servers. On my monitor, I currently have the NIMSOFT Unified Management Portal. It has many different pages across the top that give me capabilities of viewing dashboards, reports, or the actual servers that are being monitored. And I've just selected the Unified Service Manager. It shows me different groups of servers that I'm monitoring currently. If I were to run Discovery though, which is one of the features that are required, I can launch that Discovery Wizard. Select the Discovery agent that I've deployed out there across the WAN or locally within my environment, and then enter the different credentials that might be required in order to monitor those servers. WMI credentials for your Unix environment, SSH or Telnet credentials, SNMP credentials, whether it's version 1, 2, or 3, and then IP address ranges, whether they're single IP address ranges, a mask, or a range itself. You can add additional ranges here in this view, as well as select the different sets of credentials that you want to use for this discovery session. And then finally, scheduling that discovery. It may be a matter of running the discovery now, just once, scheduling the discovery to run it sometime during the evening or during the day, or scheduling a reoccurring run of this, maybe on a daily basis, a weekly basis, a monthly basis, to discover what's new in the environment. And once discovery is run, you then end up with an inventory of what's been discovered. An inventory that then you can view, see how the discovery accessed the environment via SNMP, WMI, or SSH, and actually export out that inventory as well. You can also deploy NIMSOFT's agent-based monitoring this way also. Automatic Deployment Engine pushes out the product, opposed to you having to go to the individual servers and pull the monitoring down. But with that in mind, let's take a look at a server. So I've got many different groups, but there's different ways of looking at this information. That's only one way. How about a badge view? A badge view is a great NOC Center, LCD screen in your NOC Center, so that you can view either each individual client, each individual group that you've created, and have that ability to look at them, scroll down, and navigate into any one you want by double-clicking with your left mouse. I've navigated into my servers. I've got Unix and Windows. Navigate into Windows, and I have many different Windows servers. Navigate again into a server, let's say my SQL server, and I get information pertaining to that server. I have the ability to place this in maintenance mode, once only, or a reoccurring event, maybe every night when it's backed up so that it doesn't generate alarms. I have performance data right up to the last minute. I can select any spike I want, see the max, the min, the trend, and the actual value. I can actually pop this out in order to see more information if I wish to. To zoom into information, to actually see the raw data, each individual data point, and when it was collected. This looks like it's being pulled every 5 minutes. So as a result, I can go back and look at any time frame I want, whether it be a daily, weekly, or monthly, or I can put in my own start time and end date. But that's looking at the metrics. If we look at alarms that have been generated, we see that we have a threshold that's been exceeded, just recently exceeded. So as a result, I can go ahead and select this and go ahead and assign it, accept it, assign it, unassign it, acknowledge it, launch a URL action that may be self-healing. I can also look at more information pertaining to this. I can select the metric button in order to see when that actual threshold was exceeded, which will help me look at historically what occurred in troubleshooting the issue, and metrics that I'm monitoring, because this is not only just a server that I'm monitoring, looking at CPU utilization, system idle wait, or looking at, since it's a SQL server, how much CPU or memory or the actual state of the SQL servers or process that's running here. And on top of that, since it is SQL, I'm monitoring different SQL metrics, whether it might be page reads per second, or database count, or locks used, or buffer cache hit ratio, or table space. I have all of these metrics at my fingertip that I can go ahead and select and expand on. But let's get into how you set up this monitoring, because it's an important aspect of this product. I'm going to hop into one specific, what we call probe, to take a look at how it's configured. This is the CPU disk and memory probe, or CDM probe. I currently have the processor folder selected, so I can see what my polling interval is. Each individual metric can be polled at a different interval. I also have this samples, a value of 5, which says I'm going to take the last 5 samples that have been polled, average them, and then take that value and compare it to what was just collected. So I'm not generating an alarm on a spike. I'm generating an alarm, more educated alarms. Now, if I scroll down to total CPU utilization, we'll see the individual total idle system. For total CPU, I have published data selected. If I deselect this, it tells the system, I don't want to store this metric. I only want to generate alarms. But I do want to store this data, each individual poll interval, so that I can trend and analyze it. And as you can see, I have 2 thresholds set, one at 80, one at 90, that are going to generate different types of alarms. But to further the threshold definitions, I can compute by baseline. And by computing by baseline, I can set a dynamic threshold. And I have 3 different algorithms: scalar, percent, or standard deviation. So let's select percent. By selecting percent, I see different values that if they exceed my threshold by this percentage, they're going to generate different types of alarms. And if I don't want to generate these types of alarms, I can just remove them so that I'm generating, let's say, a major or critical alarm if my threshold exceeds 20% of my baseline. Now keep in mind that time over threshold is another option with the product. So as a result, you've got many different features that you can take advantage of when you're setting your thresholds with this product, because the monitoring solution should be flexible, because your environment's flexible. Now, what else gets generated here after you've set up the monitoring? Not only that ability to drill down into badge views, but automated dashboards. So if we look at an automated dashboard like server monitoring, we'll go ahead and see what gets generated out of the box. This is your time to value. I have individual servers listed on the left, my most utilized by CPU, or if I want to select by memory, I can go ahead and do that. Whether it's load or server disk space, I can actually navigate into one of these servers in order to see what's been collected on this individual server, and have that ability again to select spikes, have that ability again to look at the raw data that's being collected. On top of that, NIMSOFT automatically generates reports. Out-of-the-box reports, over 150 dashboards and reports to give you information as soon as you've deployed the monitoring. So in this case, I see top 10 worst performing servers by CPU utilization for the last 24 hours or the last day. I might want to see the last week, the last month, the last year, instead of the top 10, top 25, or maybe just the top 5. And when I look at these reports or have these reports run, they can be run in many different formats, and I can receive them again as an email on a daily basis. So that's a quick look at the NIMSOFT Monitor for servers. Keeping in mind that CA NIMSOFT Monitor is not just a standalone point server monitoring solution. It helps your team ensure you're delivering an optimal customer experience by monitoring the availability and performance of all your servers, applications, and technologies, both inside and outside your data center, via a single unified and comprehensive IT monitoring solution. It provides monitoring support for more than 140 out-of-the-box technologies and end-user response time testing across your data center and the cloud. For more information on CA NIMSOFT Monitor for server monitoring, or to download and try our software, please visit us at ca.com/server monitoring, or for any server monitoring related questions or tips, feel free to give us a shout on Twitter. Thank you very much for your time.